There's literally nothing worse than this. The most injury-proof quarterback in the NFL. I mean, someone that has not missed any time at all in his entire career, going down to a finger. Now, this is going to have a massive impact. I'm not going to lie. In the live stream last night, I came out and I said, oh no, Russell Wilson, he's not missing any time for this. Russell Wilson, he's going to play through it. They'll find a way. 2 months. Do y'all have any idea what 2 months looks like from a fantasy football standpoint? 2 months is everything. I mean, right now it's week 5. Just injured this. Let's do some quick math. 2 months. That's 8 weeks. That is until week 13. The fantasy playoffs are in week 15 this year. I mean, usually they're in week 14. Now they're in week 15. This is devastating. Of course, we need to talk about what it means for DK Metcalf. Of course, we need to talk about what it means for Tyler Lockett, what it means for Chris Carson. And it's not good news. I will tell you that. I'll tell you that to begin with. Let me send out a notification on Discord real quick. And yes, I look disgusting right now. We just got back from CrossFit. Usually, we're fine and dandy, but I had to sprint here. That way we can make sure we're getting this live stream up ASAP because we have to talk about this. Let me get a notification out there on Discord. Okay, so we just sent that out on Discord, and let me pull this up. Let's try to figure out what we are doing now with DK Metcalf. Let's try to figure out what we are doing with Tyler Lockett. And of course, go down there, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And yeah, if we're going to be pulling up what you've had from Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson so far this year, first, let's pull up our rest of season rankings. And let's look at what we actually had from these guys projected going forward. And then we can talk about exactly how far they're falling down. J-Buck says, were you just in the gym? LOL, yes, I was just in the gym. And then we had to sprint here from the gym. That way I could get this going ASAP. So no, we're not rocking the suit. No, we're not all ready for this video. This is just right off the rip. Literally, I picked up my phone after the workout. I was like, dear Lord, grab my water bottle, sprinted here. And that way we could get some initial reactions out here. That way we can go through and talk about this impact because there's like nothing worse from a fantasy football standpoint. Okay, so if we're pulling up our rest of season rankings, I was a little bit lower on Tyler Lockett compared to most people a few weeks ago. So hopefully you sold. Obviously, I'm not trying to run victory laps out here, but I'm saying we already had him down at wide receiver 20. We actually had DK Metcalf out there at wide receiver 8 in our rest of season rankings. So now DK Metcalf is going to take a hard fall. I think DK Metcalf's probably a little bit more quarterback proof than what you're going to get from Tyler Lockett, because if you're looking at Lockett, this is someone that's more so based on the timing that he has with the deep routes. He's going to require, elite quarterback play coming in to have that efficiency to be able to drive the majority of his production. Here, I don't necessarily think that DK Metcalf is going to require that same level of elite efficiency from his quarterback to be productive. So I think DK Metcalf, while yes, Metcalf is significantly going to get dinged here, I don't think it's going to be as much as Tyler Lockett. Because at this point, who would you prefer in fantasy? And I know people are going to hate me for saying this. Would you rather have Tyler Lockett or T. Higgins? Give me T. Higgins. Would you rather have Tyler Lockett? Would you rather have Antonio Brown? Give me Antonio Brown. Would you rather have Tyler Lockett? Would you rather have Odell Beckham Jr.? Give me Odell Beckham Jr. Give me Devontae Smith. Give me Julio Jones. But the problem with Tyler Lockett is now the efficiency that you've come to expect. Like if we're pulling up Tyler Lockett over the past few seasons, Tyler Lockett has been hyper productive, but it's been off the back of elite level efficiency from Russell Wilson. Where if we're pulling this up with what we have had from Tyler Lockett, in 2020, yes, Lockett was fantastic. He actually hit 1,000 receiving yards off of only 132 targets. If you're looking at a yards per target, we don't necessarily see here on... Yeah, we don't see it on Pro Football Reference. Let me get out a little nifty calculator real quick. Or what we can actually do is just look at receiving right now. And we can look at Tyler Lockett from a yards per target standpoint. Because if we're looking at it from a yards per target standpoint, then we will be in a position where we can make a pretty good judgment on what he may be falling down to. Okay, so we had someone in the chat says, honestly, Geno Smith looks strong. Do not talk yourself into Geno Smith here. That's the last thing you could ever be doing. That would be some mental gymnastics here if we're going to try to convince ourselves that Geno Smith is going to be an above average quarterback. Here you may have Geno Smith one step above Davis Mills. Okay, so Tyler Lockett, not going to lie, I'm actually surprised to see that his yards per target was down at 8.0 this past season. I mean, that's not near the top in the NFL. I mean, you got guys like Corey Davis up there at 10.7. So here, maybe we don't necessarily need that level of efficiency from Tyler Lockett. Like I said, we're doing this right off the initial reaction. You actually had that elite level of efficiency from DK Metcalf, however, at 10.1 yards per target. So the question is, who is Geno Smith going to prefer going towards? I would imagine that Geno Smith is not going to be looking to take the ball aggressively downfield. So maybe we prefer the wide receiver that has a more yards after the catch ability. But anyway, if we're moving Tyler Lockett down our rankings, he's probably going to be moving down to get a wide receiver 3 range in here. I'd imagine we're actually probably going to move him down behind Odell Beckham Jr., probably in a similar range of Brandon Cooks, because at this point, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Cooks, they look very similar. They're very talented wide receivers with some of the worst quarterback play in the entire NFL. I think we're probably moving him behind Michael Thomas, probably moving him behind Marvin Jones. So Tyler Lockett probably going to be around wide receiver 30 for us, because keep in mind, I don't want to say this is a rest of season injury. I mean, I'm not want to say that Russell Wilson's out for the year, but if Russell Wilson's out 6 to 8 weeks, like I said, if he's out 8 weeks, we don't get him back till the fantasy football playoffs. That is a significant period of time. So I think we are going to move Tyler Lockett down to wide receiver 30. DK Metcalf's also going to take a fall, but like at this point, we have to ask ourselves, are we preferring DK Metcalf, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith? I think we probably prefer DK Metcalf over someone like Deontay Johnson, knowing that both wide receivers will have very bad quarterback play, assuming that DK Metcalf is a better wide receiver based on the historical inefficiency that we have seen from Deontay Johnson on a yards per target basis. So we're probably going to be moving DK Metcalf around a wide receiver 20 because, yeah, I think that would be a fair range right next to Jamar Chase. So DK Metcalf will go from that elite level wide receiver to someone much further down. And now if we're pivoting over to the running back position here, I know a lot of people are going to maybe try to go through and look at this and try to talk themselves into, oh, maybe they're going to run the ball more. Maybe here this actually helps Chris Carson. No, this is devastating for Chris Carson. I mean, here with Carson, this is a running back that, I mean, you already know the Seattle Seahawks. They're going to try to be run heavy to begin with. They're about as run heavy as they possibly can be to stay in football games. Now, all you're going to find is way less first downs, way less trips to the red zone. We were already very below consensus on Chris Carson. I already have him below guys like Javonte Williams, Josh Jacobs, Kareem Hunt, Darrell Henderson, and he's going to continue to fall further than this. I actually think we're going to move Chris Carson behind the tier of guys like Chase Edmonds, Miles Sanders. Like at this point, give me Cordell Patterson over Chris Carson. So I think Chris Carson's probably going to move down to about running back 25, 26. He'll be a high-end running back 3. I think he'll be in the same tier as someone like Zach Moss, knowing while, yes, Zach Moss should see less of the percentage of the overall touches in his own backfield, his overall offense is going to be so much more productive. Yeah, so Chris Carson going to take a massive fall here as well. Now, one warning that I want to give y'all is I know a lot of people are going to be coming out here and trying to extrapolate what we've had from a very small sample of Geno Smith in this past performance, with Geno Smith playing essentially, I mean, what was that? A quarter and a half of football. I mean, if we're pulling up Geno Smith's stats in this game this past week, I know that DK Metcalf caught the touchdown with him, but one thing that I just want to warn everybody of, keep in mind, Geno Smith here playing this past game against the Los Angeles Rams, it was an extremely small sample. I mean, here with Geno Smith, this is someone that had 17 attempts, 10 completions, 131 passing yards, a passing touchdown, and an interception at the same time. And yeah, a lot of that went to DK Metcalf, but just because we saw that in about, 18 minutes of football, that does not make that predictive in the slightest going forward. If you're going to be trying to evaluate Geno Smith, instead, we need to be going back to the last time we have actually seen Geno Smith play on a football field, maybe. And also, I think it's probably too late for them to bring in Cam Newton. I mean, I think they're probably rolling with Geno Smith. It's week 5 of this season. So if you're looking at Geno Smith, the last time we saw him just have over 100 pass attempts was 2014. So keep in mind, 2014, if we try to give a good just example of how long ago that was, I was in high school in 2014. I was a freshman in high school in 2014. Since then, graduated high school, graduated college, multiple degrees, moved across the country. I mean, 2014 was forever ago. And you're looking at him even back then, his adjusted yards per attempt, 6.0. That's near the bottom of the NFL. There's a reason Geno Smith wasn't a long-term starter. You saw him in 2013 at the same time. This is when he did have 443 pass attempts. His adjusted yards per attempt, 5.3. So Geno Smith is a very, very bad NFL quarterback. Please do not try to convince yourselves that Geno Smith, based on a small sample that you saw this past week, is going to be anything for this offense. Do not pick up Geno Smith. Do not talk yourself into the fact that Geno Smith may lock on to Russell Wilson. That's just going to be you going through and trying to latch onto a narrative. We don't know what to expect. The only thing that we know to expect with Geno Smith is the fact that this is going to be a quarterback that A, is very, very bad. B, maybe they changed the offense overall to maybe highlight a little bit more of his rushing. You're looking back in 2013, he did have 366 rushing yards. Keep in mind, he was 23 years old then. Now Geno Smith's 31, so I doubt he has the same speed. I doubt he's the same level quarterback. But I think that the passing volume tips down. The passing efficiency is definitely way down. At this point, if like you don't have an IR spot on your roster and you're having to only roster 5 to 6 players in your bench, you drop Russell Wilson. Of course, if you have an IR spot, you just slide him over. I really hope y'all picked up Trey Lance. Now, let me see. We had some donations in this live chat. Let me go through. And if you have not dropped a like on the live stream, if you have not subscribed to the channel, fix your life. Caden says, just traded Tyler Lockett in a bunch for Keenan Allen, but I have Russell Wilson. Good thing I listened to you and drafted Trey Lance. LOL. I think I'll be fine. Happy to hear you just got out of Tyler Lockett, my friend. Nick coming out says, start Latavius Murray, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to be answering start-sit questions. Please don't be donating start-sit questions right now. We're going to go Edmonds over Latavius Murray. We're going to start P. Ryan over Gainwell if mix and misses. And we're going to be going Emmanuel Sanders over all those other options given the matchup. Okay, so Roe coming out says, Yo, Mason, I had to trade in for McLaurin and Moss for DK Metcalf, and I canceled it right when I saw Russ's finger. Yikes. Oh, yeah, imagine how bad that would have been. I mean, if you ended up moving away from Terry McLaurin and Zach Moss for DK Metcalf right now, that would have been devastating. Oh my gosh. Thank God you were able to get in there and cancel that in time. For Earth coming out says 1-3, need a win. I didn't need my running back 2 in flex. Player to decide on. You're okay. You're going to be starting AJ Brown at your flex. You're going to be starting DeAndre Swift in your running back spot. Nick says Cousins, Darnold, or Herbert this week. We're going to go Herbert, and between Hurts and Herbert, we're going to go Hurts. Okay, yeah, so I just want to go through. I'm not answering any more start-sit questions. I wanted to give an update on what we were thinking with this Russell Wilson injury. There's no way to, try to dress this up. It was very bad for everybody in the offense. RIP. Let me check out my $250 drafts and let me see what exactly we have in terms of our ownership on these players. I think I have DK Metcalf in a lot of leagues. I'm really hoping we don't, though. Okay, let me go to my live best ball. Okay, this is going to be on Underdog. How many leagues did we draft the DK Metcalf in here? I'm not going to look at all the leagues just because, like, when you're looking at $5 leagues for my percentages, that's nothing. Literally, $55 leagues equals one $250 league. So I'd rather just look at the exposures in the $250 leagues. Okay, so now if we're going to be looking this up, yeah, we drafted DK Metcalf in 10% of those $250 leagues. That is brutal. And if we're going to be looking at Tyler Lockett, we drafted him in 10%. We drafted Russell Wilson in 5%. So Chris Carson in 0%. Thank God we have Chris Carson nowhere. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to have for this video. RP, I'll be live streaming again tonight, and we'll have the birthday stream tomorrow night. So if there's anything that y'all are thinking that we can do fun for my birthday stream tomorrow night, please let me know. Really hope that I can catch you out in both. RIP Russell Wilson, RIP DK Metcalf, RIP Tyler Lockett. Probably not starting Tyler Lockett anytime soon. Next week, probably going to be in a spot where you at least have to consider DK Metcalf given the talent level he is, but you're not excited about it. And yeah, that's all I got for y'all. I'll be answering start-sit questions in the stream tonight. That should go live in about 2 hours now. I really got to get dinner and walk the dog. But that's all I got for y'all. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the live stream tonight. Really hope I see you in the birthday live stream tomorrow night.